The next type of equations that I'm going to review with you is equations with variables on both sides. So looking at example 1, normally we have a variable on one side of the equation and we want to solve for it. But in these examples, as you can see in example 1, we have the variable d on the left and the right side of the equal sign. So what I'm going to do right now is show you how we can turn that into a 1 or 2-step equation so that it'll be easier to solve. So if I have an equation with more than one variable on each, or with one or more variables on each side, what I need to do is something called combine like terms. And combining like terms means that you can, you want to make sure you combine terms that can go together. So there's two types of terms that can go together. We have constants and we have numbers with variables. So in example 1, 8 is a constant because it's just a number, and 4D and 5D are numbers with variables. So when I'm combining like terms, I can only combine constants together and I can only combine numbers with the same variable together. So if I'm wanting to get all of the variables on one side of the equal sign, it'll be beneficial for me to move this 4D over to be with the 5D, because then all of the D's will be on one side of the equal sign and then the 8 will be left on the other side. So to move 4D over to the other side, to combine these terms, I'm going to subtract 4D and subtract 4D. Now you may be wondering, why didn't I divide by 4? Because that's normally what we do with a number next to a variable. Well, this is different because we're trying to combine terms. I'm not trying to solve for D yet. If I had 8 plus 4D equals 5D, and I divided by 4, well, I would have to divide every single thing by 4. That would turn into 2 plus D equals 5/4 D, which didn't get us any closer to having all of the D's on one side of the equal sign. So what I'm doing instead is I'm taking away this whole 4D so it all gets moved to the other side. So I know 4D minus 4D, they're going to cancel out. We'll be left with 8 equals 5D minus 4D is 1D, which is the same as just D. So for example 1, we solve it by 8 equals D, or that's the answer. Now for example 2, we need to, again, I notice that there's variables on each side of the equal sign, and I also know there's constants on each side of the equal sign. So we're going to need to combine all of these terms before we can solve the equation. So I think I'm going to move this 4n over here, because I would rather subtract 4n and do 6n minus 4n and get positive 2n, because if I subtract 6n from each side, then on the right I'll have negative 2n, and I don't want to do that. So first I'm going to subtract 4n from each side. I know those cancel out. 6n minus 4n is 2n. I still have that negative 1 equals negative 5. Now I have combined all of my terms with variables, but I still have two constants. So now this is a two-step equation. So I'm going to add 1, add 1. Those cancel out. We're left with 2n equals negative 5 plus 1 is negative 4. Then my final step, divide by 2, because I want to get n alone. We're left with n equals negative 2. So when you're solving equations with variables on both sides, make sure you combine like terms and then solve for the variable.